Good evening, voters. Little less than 10,000 voter IDs, about 6,300 odd voter application receipts with BBMP seal, about 20,000 more without the BBMP seal, family caste details, voter ID, Aadhaar ID, BPL card, electricity meter numbers. Just some of these things that the Election Commission found, all put together in one tiny apartment in the heart of Karnataka. This is what happened yesterday. It's almost like it was an official Election Commission center, only it wasn't their data center. We don't even know whose center this was, who had collected all this data, all these election cards, voter ID cards, and why they had been collected. But in the past 24 hours, the Congress and the BJP have left no stone unturned to come out with claims and charges and counter-charges. At least 6 news briefings each from both sides, giving you various versions. None of those have actually been confirmed by the Election Commission. It is not a fake voter ID scam yet. The Election Commission has confirmed that the 9,000, 10,000 odd voter IDs that they did find were genuine voter IDs. Nobody knows who collected them and what was the motive. So what is it that these two parties are claiming today, and on the basis of what should the elections be countermanded in R.R. Nagar? That is what we want to debate tonight. I am going to highlight to you what we do know, which is very less, purely this one page that the Election Commission has put out. Just this one page of information that they told to us last night. They added a few lines to it in terms of information this evening. That's about it. Everything else is conjecture at this point of time, claims and counter-claims. So I am also going to highlight to you what they said, that we don't really know. So do not get misled by that information. It is extremely crucial because in less than 72 hours to go before Karnataka goes to vote. They must know the facts before they decide. Which is why we will ask our experts tonight, what does this really mean? This whole huge repository of cards and papers, documentation and data. If it's just lying around like that, what does it mean and what should be done now? In that constituency, should elections be held? If the Election Commission is not able to get to the root of this problem, then should they hold those elections on May 12th? That's the big question on the other side of this debate.
These are genuine ones. What appears to be that from various slums, one by one, they have been systematically collected for some purpose. And they have been kept for some purpose.
इकोनॉमिक प्रोफाइलिंग की जा रही है ताकि वोटर को इंड्यूस किया जाए। चुनाव आयोग ने हमें इस बात का तो निश्चित रूप से आश्वासन दिया कि वो मीडिया रिपोर्ट्स के ऊपर भी ध्यान देगा। पार्टी की ओर से नकवी जी ने, नड्डा जी ने, अहलूवालिया जी ने, धर्मेंद्र भाई ने जो निवेदन प्रस्तुत किया, उसमें मुख्य निवेदन ये कि 154 आरआर कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंसी में काउंटरमांड हो इलेक्शन।
A day after the fake voter ID scandal sent ripples across Karnataka, the State Election Commission today clarified that the voter IDs that were seized by their team members on the night of May 8th were not fake but genuine. In an unprecedented turn of events, the Election Commission received information about thousands of voter IDs being found at an apartment in R.R. Nagar in Bengaluru on May 8th.
This is certainly a very serious matter. We can't decide it here. So we don't still understand the significance of this more than a lakh counterfoils. Because whether they are really electors or what it signifies, those all investigation have to.
This was soon followed by blame game from the BJP and Congress.
Congress philosophy is, if real voters are not voting for you, create fake voters. And what yesterday was when the election commission raided and police have now taken control, it was a full-fledged fake voter ID factory.
She was a BJP corporator from the year 1997 to 2002 and continues to be a prominent leader of BJP, actively campaigning from BJP.
In a span of 24 hours, the Election Commission has seized over 9,000 voter IDs, printers and other equipment found in the apartment that belongs to this woman, Manjula. But who is Manjula?
ಸ್ಪಷ್ಟವಾಗಿ ನಾನು ಬಿಜೆಪಿ ಕಾರ್ಯಕರ್ತೆ. ಬಿಜೆಪಿಯಿಂದ ಅಧಿಕಾರ ತಗೊಂಡವಳು ನಾನು. ಬಿಜೆಪಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾರ್ಪೊರೇಟರ್ ಆಗಿ 5 ವರ್ಷ ಅಧಿಕಾರನ ಅನುಭವಿಸಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಇವತ್ತುವರೆಗೂ ಈ ಕ್ಷಣದವರೆಗೂ ನಾನು ಬಿಜೆಪಿಯವಳು. ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತಾ? ಬಿಜೆಪಿಗೆ ಏನು ರಾಜೀನಾಮೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿಲ್ಲ ನಾನು. ಬಿಜೆಪಿ ಕಾರ್ಯಕರ್ತೆ.
Till now 2 persons police have arrested and further arrest also they are proceeding towards, and as and when more information will come we will provide to you. 3 of the observers who have come from outside the state, including 1 police observer, 1 general observer and 1 other observer.
All said and done, briefing after briefing, both the BJP and the Congress are only blaming each other for the incident. Nobody, including the Election Commission, has the answers to who is responsible for this situation and what was the real motive. Mirror Now report.
Let's say good evening to our guest. Then Wing Commander GBR3, spokesperson for the Karnataka Pradesh Congress Committee, joins us this evening. Representing the BJP's Vaibhav Agarwal, we've also got Sangeet Kumar Ragi, a political analyst, joining us from our Noida studios. Shabacha Singh, senior journalist, joining us from Gurgaon. But first, I want to go across to the big expert here, the former CEC, Mr. T.S. Krishnamurthy. Good evening, sir, and thank you for being with us here on Mirror Now.
Good evening.
Based on what the Election Commission has told us so far in the news conference last night and today, what do you make of it? What does it really mean? We have 2 days to go before the voters decide and cast their vote. They need to understand what's really going on here.
Obviously, an electoral offence has been committed. Who is responsible? Only an independent inquiry will be able to bring out the truth. But the fact is, an atrocious activity has taken place, and this is going to impact the purity of the election process. So it has to be thoroughly inquired into, whether it is genuine identity cards or fake identity cards. These are things which need to be really inquired into. And I am sure that the Election Commission will constitute an independent inquiry for this purpose. As far as the impact of it on the election, we have to see whether the voter register has all these names and whether it is only in this constituency or in adjacent constituencies. These are issues which need to be gone into. So my own feeling is, whether it is, whatever be the party or the person concerned involved in this, it's a very serious issue, and if necessary, if the Election Commission is convinced that the purity of the election process is going to be affected, they should not hesitate to defer the elections or countermand the elections and hold it maybe after 2 or 3 months.
Because at this point of time, from what the Election Commission and the state officer has told us is they don't know. They don't even know what this signifies. They have managed to tell us, Mr. Krishnamurthy, that about 9,400 or 700 odd of these voter IDs that they found are actually genuine. They actually belong to voters from the same constituency. They were allegedly picked up from the slums nearby and brought in. Now, to your mind, what can be the motive? One is the plain simple, assumption that perhaps they were collecting this data on voters to figure out how and what can be used to bribe them for voter inducement. Is there something else that it could be used for?
No, one of the possible explanation could be that these voters' identity cards have been received by the particular person or the party concerned, and on the date of the election they will give it and get an assurance from them that they will vote for them and they will get the payment or whatever it is. That is one of the possible explanations. But obviously it's an offence to take away the identity card of a voter and not handing it over to the voter concerned and not allowing him to exercise his judgment independently is an offense under the Representation of People's Act and probably Indian Penal Code, and we must go to the root of the problem and take action against persons concerned.
Okay, so based on this, and Mr. Krishnamurthy, obviously his opinion and his expertise is extremely valuable right now. Let me take this question across to our two political representatives. First, Wing Commander Atri, and ask him, Wing Commander Atri, should the polls be countermanded until the Election Commission can get to the root of this problem? Because let's face it, between you and the BJP, there have been countless allegations. So many of them have proven to be untrue in the past 24 hours. The Election Commission has clearly said they don't know yet what it is. So should we even be holding these elections?
Let us concentrate on, Tanvi, let us concentrate on the issue at hand. I fully endorse Mr. Krishnamurthy's views that there is something amiss. You are not allowing people to exercise their free and fair franchise and their judgment to whom they vote. There is no doubt in our minds, this is the muscle power of BJP coming into fore. When they realize that they are going to on a losing wicket here, defeat is staring at their face. Manjula, who was a corporator, who has come on camera and accepted that she has enjoyed powers as a BJP corporator, and the house today is in the name of Rakesh, her own son. This completely confirmed the fact this entire game is being played dramatically by the dirty tricks department of BJP and nobody else. And Election Commission Chief Electoral Officer has told in the morning very categorically, they appear to be very genuine voter IDs, and we will inquire into this, how these things have come and gone to that place. I don't think I'll agree with him. He knows there is an identity of the voter. Mr. Krishnamurthy will agree with me. The address is there. What stops the police to go and check and get statements, at least 10 or 15 of them, to find out the truth? They are trying to dilly-dally this and delay this. Absolutely clear in my mind that BJP, which is accepting its defeat, is trying to make an unnecessary issue and see that it is countermanded. A serious inquiry must be done in next 12 hours by the Chief Electoral Officer in Karnataka and go to find out those houses and see. They will give the statements, take their statements in front of a magistrate if it is required, and put this hooliganism and total gundaism and muscle power by the BJP. Mr. Sujnewala has already told very categorically in the morning, we are not going to accept this kind of a thing. This is showing the entire government machinery which is controlling the Chief Election Commission in Delhi is trying to, play into the hands of the Election Commission to countermand because they are not able to face the electorate. But
you agree yourself, Wing Commander Atri, that what has happened is a serious issue and a serious offense, and this must be investigated. Now, why should we be in a rush to hold elections until we know what is what? It's not just those voter IDs. The fact is that 6,342 voter application receipts were also available at that location. Wing Commander Atri, I want to reiterate this fact because it reflects the seriousness of the issue. 20,000 voter acknowledgement receipts without the BBMP seal, 6,300 of them with the BBMP seal. Formats with family number names, electricity meter numbers, mobile details, caste, voter ID, Aadhaar ID. Now, who is getting access to this? You are saying BJP, BJP is saying Congress, Election Commission doesn't know yet, the police doesn't know yet. On what basis should we be holding these elections? Are you all taking the citizens and the voters for a ride?
Tanvi, the referee in this case is the Chief Electoral Officer of Karnataka. He is got empowered by the People's Representative Act 1950 and 51 both, and also certain laws in the IPC, as Mr. Krishnamurthy very rightly pointed out. They must put this forward on a war footing, not just dragging their feet like this. When the evidence is staring at you, when you got 9,476 voter ID card recovered from a BJP person's house, what else proof you want? You must move with the law immediately. You should not go back on this. We demand that it should be taken to its logical conclusion immediately, whatever the powers might be. It is the election.
Okay.
It is the election
Vaibhav
season,
Agarwal,
it is
to
the
respond to
voters
this,
who is the
before we
ultimate-
get into the details of the claims that have been made and the facts that are present between in front of us, especially regarding the people who are involved or linked to this controversy. But before that, Vaibhav Agarwal, the same question to you. Why should the polls be countermanded now? Your response to what the Congress is saying.
Good evening, Tanvi, and to my all panelists. I would request Wing Commander Atri to take a breath, and he stated what his side was, and it's duly noted. Because I represent the ruling party, ruling government, I will have a little more to say to this. Now, taking his last sentence, and I've made a note of it, Tanvi, when, and I quote, when evidence is staring at you, as that's what Wing Commander Atri representing the Congress just said. Absolutely, and I totally support what he's saying. When the evidence is staring at you, what is the evidence that is staring at you? The evidence that is staring at you is the marketing and publicity material of the sitting Congress MLA Muniratna caught with the and thank you notes caught with the voter ID cards. I was just on another couple of channels. I was doing this debate, and since I also have spoken to people, relevant people in the local area, so I have a little information which I would share. There is marketing material of the sitting Congress MLA that has been found on the spot with decently packaged agents and their numbers and their names, checks, money, cash, everything has been founded. 1 lakh voter slips to make those voter ID cards, God knows how many, and the total constituency area that the total number of voters in that constituency area is just about 4 lakhs. So you understand, when 25% of those numbers are found there, there's got to be some serious stuff. This, Tanvi, is absolutely the evidence of economic inducement of the very fearing and the totally countermanded Congress, countermanded by the BJP. In the local area, because if they were to lose elections, you see, the stakes are not just losing a state election. If they were to lose elections, you have to understand that the Congress National Party may just stand to lose the National Party's tag also on it. That means they will have reduced numbers in the Rajya Sabha, they will have reduced capabilities of funding, they will have reduced capabilities of other etc., which come with it. Now that's the other angle, and why Congress is running from place to place. Now the second part that Mr. Surjewala has not shared in his press conference. Who's running from place to place?
Congress or the BJP? BJP workers, based on a tip of chased and located the so-called fake IDs according to your own complaint letter that went to EC yesterday.
That is old news.
You assumed and called it fake IDs.
Correct. That's a old.
You went inside that apartment.
That's a
you
old narrative.
Seemingly like an authority raided the apartment. The visuals that we've been playing clearly doesn't look like they're election commission officials.
The
so
beauty
who
of
was running
Indian
from
law,
pillar to post? Your ministers went to the election commission.
The beauty. One moment. Yeah, right, absolutely. That's exactly what I'm saying. And the beauty of Indian law is that if BJP Karyakartas raided the house, so-called raided the house, because there was some undue, unsocial activity that was being spotted, the beauty of Indian constitution is that each citizen stands to make a citizen's arrest empowered if he or she needs to do so in the event of an opportunity that is there in front of them. We have Mr. Krishnamurthy with us, and he has run the election. He will understand what I'm saying. So there is no fuss over the citizens going and walking into and trying to stop an antisocial activity. And playing with voter ID should be, from my perspective, if you ask me, it should be a case tried with sedition.
So why did you file the complaint first and then why didn't you file the complaint first and then accompany the EC flying squad or the police?
The complaint went simultaneously. These are two simultaneous activities that have happened. And you also have to understand that we are the ones who actually got the EC to fly down to Bangalore and say that, hey, you have to take action on this, and this is what the story is coming out.
Alleged crime before the investigative authorities reached there. Okay, I also want to get the sequence of events clear here.
That's, as I
what
said,
happened first? Did the EC reach first?
You to do so.
Did the BJP reach first? No, please clarify this for us, since clearly BJP has been, and your team members have been keeping a close track. Who reached there first? Who came next? And what happened?
Right. So I will not do the cop's job on this. This is the next bit. Your call should go to the SSP of the area, the SP or the DCP of the area, and you should be able to get those investigative details because matter is sub judice. FIR has already been lodged. And so the matter is sub judice. I will not be able to reveal any details of inquiry. However,
I'm not
I will give you the
asking for any details of
public
inquiry.
domain
I'm going
that
to
are
ask
with me
any of my other
specifically.
panelists. I don't know if Mr.
I'll
Wing
tell you.
Commander Attari can help me out here.
Right.
What is the sequence of events? People of the country deserve
Now,
to
one
know
moment.
who got there first,
let me
who was
complete what
caught
I'm
in
saying.
that apartment,
People of this country.
when did the
Tanvi, 1
police
minute.
arrive at the scene, and when did the election commission arrive at the scene?
1 minute. 1 minute.
No, you're saying
the last
you
part of
can't
what I'm
reveal
trying to
this
state.
because
One
it's
minute, one
somehow
moment.
sub judice.
I have the details.
I'm not asking you
I have the
investigation
details,
details.
but I will only
Come
issue
in.
clarifications.
You know,
I will only give you those details if you allow me. That's my last part of the submission.
I have heard.
Wing Commander Attari, 1 minute.
May I?
1 minute.
May I?
The house that have been
I'm asking Tanvi, I don't need your permission.
the house where the voter IDs have been
To allow me
found.
to speak since he asked
1
it,
minute.
Okay?
1 minute.
Vaibhav Agarwal, if
The
you know the
house
sequence of
that
events
the
and you're
voter
willing to
IDs
share
have
it,
been
please
found
tell
in.
us. Yeah.
I know, I'm telling you. The house that the IDs have been found in is a flat belonging to one of our karyakartas, previous karyakartas or active karyakartas. I am not privy to that information. That is the state cadre who will be able to tell you that. But one of our karyakartas, and I am not doubting anyone's integrity, is Miss Manjula, as rightly shown on your screen right now as well. However, she had already rented out the apartment a year back.
No, that's all fine. We'll come to that in just a bit. Who's telling me the sequence of events there of yesterday?
Can't control the...
I'll come to that in a bit.
I've just told you the sequence of the events.
Which is what? Who reached there first? BJP guys reached there first, then the police, then the Congress goons, and then the election commission. Please correct me if I'm wrong.
As far as my understanding goes, the Congress people and the cadre of the MLA were already there, and BJP saw a crowd and shifting and paperwork and karyakartas. This is all hearsay. What I'm saying is because I'm sitting far away from Bangalore, but whatever information I have is I can share. Is that karyakartas found some stuff, they went in and checked, and everyone panicked. The Congress guys started throwing the entire stuff and putting bags and stuff and out of windows, and some people ran down, and in the same time we informed our local cadres, and we ran from pillar to post to get the complaint drafted and sent to the election commission, written, and get the media involved, and that is how the election commission did a press conference, unprecedented press conference, and you would agree to that, at 11:30 in the night. And all the media was there.
Yes, I don't know why, because they weren't able to tell us much about it. They weren't able to tell us much about it apart from what you had already told us and that complaint that you had already sent. So, okay, let me take this across to Mr. Badshah Sen and then Sangeet Kumar. The point of this exercise, viewers, was to tell you that nobody is aware of all of the facts right now. But if you look at both of the political parties who are clearly now getting anxious 2 days before the voting happens, they are making claims after claims, pointing fingers at each other without really knowing what even happened there and what sequence of events. And if I had to sit here and play out each of their comments with a timestamp on it, you would see how they have changed their stand repeatedly from Manjula, the owner of the flat, not being connected to BJP at all, to yes, being connected to BJP, but a long time back, to maybe still connected with the BJP and active, to her son being connected to the BJP. Things have changed. Similarly for the Congress party, from them saying that Manjula is completely acting on behalf of the BJP, to then saying, no, our person is not linked and our MLA is not linked to the man who's been arrested. The photos now emerging of the man who's been arrested with the Congress MLA. Badshah Sen, what is happening here? What is your own view of the situation that Karnataka voters are staring at?
Well, there are a number of questions. First of all, it now appears that these are not fake voter ID cards. If they are genuine, as it is now, even the Election Commission says it is genuine, and the only people I will believe is the Election Commission. They are the official authority. If it is genuine, I am sure efforts are being made to trace the owners of those genuine voter ID cards and find out from those 9,746 owners of those voters, the genuine voter ID cards, ask them how they came to either lose them, or did they report them? Were they stolen? Did someone hold them at gunpoint? Questions should be asked of the voters to begin with, to find out whether somebody has been engaged in mass scale, as it was put, as Mr. Krishnamurthy rightly put, possibilities that I collect your voter ID card and I hand it to you just before you go in to vote, then you hand it back to me, or then I hand you some money. If that is the case, it's a well-organized racket involving quite a few people, including the 9,000 odd voters. So the first people to go and find out from are these voters themselves. I mean, that would be one way to do it, and I'm reasonably certain, I have great faith in the Election Commission, as also the Bangalore police and the Karnataka police. These are the people who should be doing that, and for some reason, we haven't yet found out what they may or may not have found out as far as the ownership of the voter ID cards are concerned. The second point is this just an isolated incident in this area? And when you're calling for the possible countermanding of the election, I presume you're calling for the countermanding of the election in that particular constituency. I do not know whether you can extend it to countermand the entire election process. That would not be fair on voters elsewhere. The third point is that basically all these arguments which are going on between the various parties. One thing I noticed, Mr. Agarwal, the BJP spokesman, said that there is such a thing known as citizen's arrest. Indeed there is, but the citizen's arrest does not give the citizen the right to enter a house and do whatever he feels like. The citizen's arrest takes place when the concerned citizen sees someone striking somebody. I'm sorry. Then in that case, anyone can enter anyone's house saying, I'm a citizen going to make an arrest. There is a right of privacy. You see, the citizen can make an arrest if he apprehends that someone is going to kill someone, that there has been a hit and run. I do not know whether the citizen arrest allows anyone to walk through my door, in which case I would be extremely scared, being a 69-year-old person, that a bunch of citizens will walk into my house. I doubt that will not, no, I'm sorry. And the other point is, did these citizens, these righteous citizens, go in empty-handed? Did they go in with... These are the things the citizens should have called the police. The citizens should have called the Election Commission. Why did they rush in? Did they apprehend that these people inside were doing nefarious things and would run away? In which case, perhaps they should do it. But there's no answer to this.
Yes.
I mean, I can walk in with a bunch of 10 people saying I'm making a citizen's arrest with a bundle of, let me put it, voter ID cards and dump it there. I mean, there's no witness to show that I'm dumping it
exactly
there.
what I said when I said that if it's an alleged crime scene,
but that's a matter of
you can go in and you can dump whatever, tamper with the alleged crime scene, and then turn around and say, look what they were doing. And
but
of
then
course,
you're not talking about Tanvi. I'm very strange. You're not
well, I don't understand this argument, whoever gave you the right or your party members the right to barge into anybody's apartment. But I know this is an habitual thing with several of groups associated to your party and your party members on ground, but you have to draw the line somewhere.
Who said we barged in?
I'd like to point out,
did you have the key to the apartment?
Did
you have the key to the apartment? Did you have the police or the election commission reading that?
The apartment was not logged. There was people already there.
Who entered the apartment first?
Was there and he ran.
So who entered the apartment first? Did the owner or the tenant, Miss Manjula, enter the apartment first? We don't know yet. A group of BJP workers who absolutely had no link to the apartment, which I'm sure you will agree, did enter the apartment first.
Our citizens, that our responsible citizens saw the MLA also there at that hour.
Responsible citizens will start barging in wherever they want, anybody's office tomorrow, anybody's private residence tomorrow. I don't know what kind of precedence you are setting here. I'm going to go across to Sangeet Kumar because he's been patiently waiting by. My apologies to him. Mr. Kumar, I'm sorry I'm coming to you this late, but you've heard what everybody else has said. There is a huge amount of lack of clarity when it comes to sequence of events. Firstly, which is why the Election Commission is probably not even entering that area yet, because they don't perhaps know it themselves. Who went there first? Who's running that apartment? The owner is one person who's been a 5-year a BJP corporator. She claims she's still with the BJP, though she's not in active politics. BJP says we have no link with her. Her son is still with the BJP and he's proud to be a BJP member. Allegedly, though, the person who's running operations out of that apartment is a congressman or linked to the Congress MLA of that constituency, or the candidate of that constituency. Here are all the allegations and counter allegations. In such a scenario, then, should the polls be countermanded?
First of all, there are allegations and counter allegations from both the stakeholders in Karnataka election this time. So only an objective investigation can tell the truth that who are the people behind it. The second question is far more important. Whether it has happened in only this constituency or this is the game which has been played out in other constituencies as well. So I think that the Election Commission should take this issue very, very seriously, and the investigation should go into it whether such kind of things have been done in other cases, in other constituencies or not. Third point, which I presume that it is certainly a case of mass rigging, in which probably the voters have been, denied. Probably it might also be one of the possibilities that those are the voters. In those who work at the grassroots level know it very well that who are the voters who are the traditional voters of the Congress party or the BJP. So in that case, whether there has been a selective pattern in this, collection of I-cards or not, and particularly it has come from the slums. So who are the traditional voters who are going to vote for, who is going to impact that election process through, collecting those I-cards? That all these questions needs to be investigated. And if the Election Commission has a suspicion or doubt, I do have, that it is not only the isolated case in one constituency, it might have been in other constituencies also. In that scenario, I think that the election, it will be a bad it will be a bad trend if election is, allowed to happen in the entire state. I would be saying that what had happened in case of Assam, it was the fake electoral rolls that had led to particularly the, derailment of the election process for some time. Here it is not, it was all because of the fake, it was because of the infiltration from Bangladesh. No, here we are finding that they are the genuine voters, but those genuine voters have been denied the, the voters I-card 2 days before the election. So whether whether the whole purpose was, the entire design was to deny them voting, or it was to give them the voter I-card before the election, and in lieu of that they wanted to garner the support of those people. It is yet to be investigated. Nobody can, neither the BJP nor the Congress party can come out with a claim that it was the purpose. Yes, counter allegation and counter allegation will come, but onus lies with the ruling party there, because they are the one who are in charge of all these things. They virtually control all these things. They have the intelligence input there. So they know it very well that who has done all these things. So I think that the Congress party should be held far more responsible in this case.
Okay, Mr. Krishnamurthy, what is very clear is, and EC has also said it in its statement, what is very clear is that this is an indication of planned work over a period of time to survey and locate vulnerable electors and induce the electors through middleman is what they suspect prima facie. So does this mean that one of the two or three big parties fighting the election this season would be involved? And how do you solve this problem? Should we just ensure that there are no political workers, no political karyakartas present anywhere around the election booths on the day of the voting?
See, the problem is we have to identify whether it is only in this constituency or in other constituencies. As the facts emerge, political parties have different versions. That means the facts are not complete with us. In a panel discussion, we cannot decide who is guilty and who is not guilty. Unless an independent inquiry brings out this issue and come to a conclusion, it will be unfair to comment who is guilty. So I would say, until the inquiry is over, it is worthwhile to countermand the election in this constituency. If you have information in respect of other constituencies, jolly well do it. But my own understanding rather from the media reports is that it is only in this constituency. The Election Commission is certainly independent enough to inquire into this, and I am sure they will arrive at a conclusion. But the larger issue is, in many places, such irregularities are reported. And the only answer is whether the political parties are serious about electoral reforms or not. In my opinion, none of the political parties is serious about it, whether they are in majority or in opposition. They are not willing to address this issue seriously and bring about certain minimum changes, because some of them have been recommended by the Law Commission, some of them have been recommended by the Election Commission. But once the party comes to power, they forget about the manifesto. They don't even mention in the manifesto about the need for electoral reforms. It's unfortunate that the quality of democracy is gradually deteriorating because of the indifference of the political parties in this country.
But Mr. Krishnamurthy, you say that the EC has to also figure out if this has happened in other constituencies. I ask you, does our Election Commission today have the bandwidth and the resources and the scale to do it with just 2 days left to go for elections? I'll come to you, Mr. Ragi.
No, certainly you don't have to countermand the election the whole state unless you have specific information.
Yeah.
If you don't have specific information, you are not expected to countermand the whole state elections. Wherever you have specific information, go ahead and act. It is possible, but there is no need to postpone the election for the whole state. I don't understand at all. If you have specific information, certainly act. If you don't have, other elections should go as scheduled.
Okay. Sangeet Kumar Ragi, and then we go on to our other guests.
No, I just have to
I may have to go as I have got some other work. I would like to leave.
Reiterating my point. I'm just reiterating the point that, look, here you are finding in a particular constituency that 10,000 iCards have been scammed, right? So my point is that until and unless we have information about the other electoral constituencies, if it is true with other electoral constituencies, then it will be a case of mass rigging, and therefore the entire to my mind, the entire election process stands to be faked. So my submission would be that a proper investigation must be conducted into it, and if need be, a new notification might be issued in regard to elections in Karnataka.
Okay. Mr. Badshah Sen, the point that I was actually trying to address also is that we are all accepting the fact that there is a possibility that this data, these voter IDs could be used for voter inducement, that on the day of voting, when they turn up at the election booth and they're to be given these voter IDs, you then tell them to vote in a certain way, you try and bribe them and whatnot. How do you fix that problem? It's not just a problem with this one constituency. There are several examples across the country of this phenomena happening. Should we just then bar political workers of any party from around the voting or election poll booth area? Will that solve or at least help in some way?
Well, you see, there are some regulations as far as I remember. The large bulk of the election agents of various political parties are expected to maintain a distance from each of the polling booths. There are a few observers, I believe, with the permission of the election officer of that area or with the permission of the Election Commission, who are permitted to be around even close to the booth, and perhaps even just outside the booth, to ensure that no unauthorized element goes in and out, no hanky-panky goes out, but that's a very, very small number of people. The rest of the political workers are expected to maintain a considerable distance from the polling booths. So I think that law needs to be implemented. I don't think we need more laws on that count. The point remains a larger issue, of course, what Mr. Krishnamurthy had correctly pointed out. This, even if the election officer, the election agents of the political parties are, let's say, 10 kilometers away, and they're holding these IDs, and they'll do their transaction 10 kilometers away. There's nothing to stop them from doing that. So the proximity to the booth really doesn't make a difference. Secondly, I think that unless it's proved that it's elsewhere, I don't think you can countermand the whole election. For God's sake, we've had violence of the worst sort in one part of a state. It's been countermanded in that booth, but not the whole state.
No, absolutely not. I don't think any of us are suggesting that. I do want to clarify that. I wasn't suggesting that. I don't think any of our political representatives are suggesting that it should be done for the whole state. The point was to say,
may I make a point?
If it is indeed happening, do we have the resources to find that out within the next 2 days is the point. Yes.
Right.
Wing Commander Atri and then Vaibhav Agarwal.
Right. May I?
Yeah, let me come in, Tanvi, here. Let me come in.
Go ahead, please.
This is, may I?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, you see, it's a very, very clear episode of a misadventure by the BJP gone horribly wrong, and it has boomeranged on them. They were using all these probably tactics elsewhere, and they were trying to do in Karnataka. This is for the first time in Karnataka such a thing has happened. There is no doubt in our mind that that is why we want this inquiry to be done in a free, fair and a war footing immediately. As Mr. Krishnamurthy will agree with me, each voter ID will also have the constituent's name also, and which is the Vidhan Sabha constituency. It is not difficult to ascertain how many constituencies have been here affected. Manjula was the corporate who is the owner of the house, has accepted, and now here the ruling party says the citizen vigilante will do it. Come on, where are we? Are we in a banana republic? This vigilantism by citizens must stop, and we must stop.
Wing Commander Atri, you're crossing your line. I've been very decent with you. Don't cross your line. I'll be forced to cross mine.
Mr. Agarwal, I don't need your advice. Keep your counsel to yourself. I don't need your counsel.
No,
okay?
don't do this. Don't do this. Don't blame the BJP here. Your sitting MLAs, visiting cards with checks and money was found on the spot.
You are unnecessary.
Do you have an answer to that?
You are showing your true
Cambridge
DNA.
Analytica gave you this strategy to malign BJP, and that is why you went in a hurry. I demand
all right, gentlemen, all right.
And demand justice on it.
I think right at the beginning of the show, I kind of proved it to our viewers that neither of the two parties actually have the facts. The Election Commission doesn't really have the facts. You guys only have allegations and counter allegations. And please, gentlemen, do not yell on this show. I'm running out of time. I will thank my panelists at this point of time for coming and joining us and sharing their views. Here is what the reality is. Yes, the owner of the residence where all of these voter IDs and applications and voter data was found does belong to a member who is linked to the BJP. Is a BJP member, has been a former BJP corporator. Her son is still with the BJP. That much we know. We also know that one man who's been arrested not for voter fraud, but for indulging in violence and rioting because there were alleged clashes between the BJP guys and the Congress guys or whoever that other group was. Two people have been arrested. One of them, Nagesh, is linked to a Congress MLA who's also the candidate this election season. So both parties cannot right now say that they have nothing to do with what is happening on ground. This is that election season, voters, where we've also repeatedly highlighted to you how ethically and morally the two parties are not really sticking to the boundaries when it even comes to the social media battle. We showed you just this evening how BJP IT cell worker is telling us that they use your data, your user data, likes, dislikes on social media, behavioral pattern, to then tell you what you think or what information you have is right or wrong and send you the relevant information. That's how they are battling it out on social media, he claims. On ground, this is what they're doing. They're collecting voters' data, their identification cards, in a bid to either try and sway you this way or that way. What is happening to our democracy? They have made a mockery of it at every level. And no political party is better than the other when it comes to that. Not the BJP, definitely not the Congress party. They cannot take the higher moral ground here. As a voter, you need to be aware. Be aware of the facts, not the noise that is being created around it, because we have just 2 more days to go for elections in Karnataka. For rest of India, you need to watch this as example of what is to come in the run-up to 2019 elections. Such tactics and dirtier tactics will be used by our political parties. Please be aware and use your vote in the right and most relevant manner. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.